Hello, I am Alexey. I have developed several plugins for Keycloak Sonar, and today I want to demonstrate how you can use your MIDI controller with Sonar using my AZ controller plugin. I want to check that my controller is really visible in Sonar. For that I go into Preferences, into MIDI section, Devices, and check that I see my controller as input and output. You have to be sure it is checked. So in this case, Sonar see it and Sonar can use it. Next, I close Sonar because during installation of my plugin, it is better to keep Sonar closed, especially if you update my plugin. Otherwise, you will get error during installation. To download the plugin, please visit my site azslow.com. Here in News section, you can always find the latest release version of my AZ controller plugin. And there's download link. I download the plugin. And that is an installer, so you should run it. You will be warned that it is not signed. It is really not signed. License is standard, nothing special, but not open source. There should be no error messages here. In case you get error message, most probably you forgot to close Sonar before installation. I have started Sonar again, so now my plugin is installed. We go to Preferences and Control Surfaces. Here we add new surface, select AZ controller and the plugin, and we should select input and output from your device. In my case, it's MPK Mini, and click OK. I create new empty project and add several audio tracks into it so I can demonstrate how that works. Now you see that AZ controller is mentioned as control surface. You also can reach the preferences from utilities menu. You see here AZ controller, but I normally use this panel, and this button opens the property of this plugin. For some surfaces I have specialized presets, but if you have some generic controller, you can start with so-called startup preset. It is universal for any type of simple controllers. We go here in the Options tab, and in the Tweak Current Configuration menu, we select Startup preset. Here we should select the number of parameters we need. On my MPK Mini I have 8 knobs and 8 pads. Pads can be switched in several modes, and in each mode they will produce different MIDI event. That is useful because we can then detect that and separate reaction in each of these modes. But that is not affecting knobs, so I have only 8 knobs. And in case I, for example, want control 4 strips, so 4 volumes and 4 pans, I can select here 4 strips. Here the number of buttons per strip. Let's say we have 2. And number of ACT banks. Here you can set any number. In this video I'm not going to touch ACT topic, it's a bit special. So I just press Create Preset. Now we go to Hardware tab, because while the logic is defined, our controls are not yet learned. If I touch some control in the last media event, you can see that there are some changes also on buttons. And these MIDI messages can be assigned to different controls. Open it and we can see that there are these strip controls and some additional buttons. We start with knobs. So I have fader and encoder here listed, but on this surface I don't have faders, so I will use lower knobs as faders and upper knobs as encoders. So I select fader, touch the knob and press assign MIDI. The same I will do with second knob, third knob, and fourth knob. In case I want to assign new control, but I touch something which is already assigned, so you can see here that this media event associated with this control is assigned, and you can't assign it to different control. So assigned control is automatically selected here. So I continue with encoders. I use upper row of knobs for that. And I'm done with knobs. For mute and solo buttons, so I will use program change mode of pads. They also have two banks, so I can send different program change in each bank. But I'm going to use bank 1, program change mode, and upper row is going to be solo and lower row is going to be mute. So let's say I start with solo, okay, with mute, lower, solo upper, mute, solo, mute, solo, mute. Oh, we can just send so. Mute. You also see that you can't assign this message because it is already assigned. So only when you generate yet another unassigned event, this button can be pressed. Mute, solo, mute, solo. So we have assigned all our strip controls. There are also some other buttons. I now switch to CC mode, also bank 1, to assign my transport controls. For example, let it be stop. Let that be play, that be record. I will also assign Y region, so let that be left and that be right. I will assign next mode to this button. Let me show console view. So let's check that my controls are really working. So now I'm changing the position, but nothing happens. Why? Because by default in this preset, all controls, knobs and faders are in catch mode. So first I should bring the control in position, which is correspond to the position of real parameter. So let me catch it. Yeah, you see, I catch it. After that, I can control it. The same as other. Yeah. So that means faders are working. Let's check knobs, pen. Yeah. Then we can check mute and solo. I change to program mode. So there's no yet indication that something is mute or soloed. That is possible with asset controller, but it is not part of preset, so some tuning of configuration is required to make it work. So now let's check that we have working transport buttons. Play, stop, play, stop, record. Okay, we don't have any track armed. We could define and can still define some buttons, some controls to provide record arm. But I will do this now with mouse. So we are recording and stop again. So this button we have defined as mode. And as you can see by moving Y, so now tracks are highlighted, now buses are highlighted, and we can control buses. Again, we should catch to start controlling. And the third mode, you see there's no longer any Y, is ACT mode. We can control plugin parameters, but that is a bit complicated topic in Sonar. I will explain that in some next video. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye.